These genetic brain diseases are extremely rare, but when the mutation is yours, the damage is personal. Fatal, familial insomnia. I used to fall asleep without thinking. Now, night is a room I cannot enter. I lie still for an hour. My body is tired. My brain will not shut down. At first, it was light sleep that broke apart. Then deeper sleep started disappearing. I sweat through the sheets. My heart races for no clear reason. I walk the hallway at 3 in the morning because lying down feels useless. People say I look exhausted. I am exhausted. Coffee does nothing useful anymore. Sleep is not rest. It is a skill my brain is forgetting. Doctors say a genetic prion problem is slowly destroying the systems that make sleep possible. So, fatigue stacks on fatigue. Dreams thin out. And the one thing every body needs keeps slipping further away. Lesch Nyhan disease. My mind can invent urges that aim at my own body. I do not want the injury. The compulsion arrives anyway. I bite when I do not mean to bite. I flinch from my own hands. The way you flinch from a hot stove. Family learns to watch my mouth the way you watch a sharp tool. Guards and sleeves become part of getting dressed. I feel shame that does not match the force of the urge. This is not a mood I can talk myself out of. It is a chemical and genetic storm in the circuits that govern impulse. I can know the danger and still feel pulled toward it, so every day becomes a negotiation with a brain that can turn against its own body. Wilson disease. Copper is supposed to leave my body in tiny amounts. Mine keeps it, slowly, quietly. At first nobody notices anything wrong. Then my hands start to tremble around a cup. My walk changes on flat sidewalks. My handwriting looks like someone else borrowed my pen. My mood swings in ways that feel foreign even to me. Doctors find copper building up in places it should not stay, including pathways that shape movement and behavior. A ring in the eye can become a clue. Treatment can pull the metal back down if it starts in time. Without it, the accumulation keeps rewriting how I move and who I seem to be. Huntington's disease. One inherited mutation sits in my DNA like a clock. I did not choose it, it chose the timeline. My movements start to wander without permission. A shoulder jerks, a step goes wider than I planned. Thinking gets harder in quiet steps. Personality softens, sharpens, or slips sideways. Family members watch each other for signs they already fear. I practice tasks I used to do without effort. Balance, speech, planning a simple day. Buttons take longer, conversations take longer. The disease does not arrive as one dramatic night. It arrives as a gradual rewrite of movement, cognition, and behavior. Genetic prion disease. Proteins in my brain are supposed to fold into careful shapes. A mutation teaches them the wrong shape. Then the wrong shape teaches other proteins the same mistake. It is not an infection from outside. It is an instruction error that spreads inside. I lose ground in thinking first, or movement first, or both at once. Names slip. Coordination slips. Doctors talk about misfolding like a chain reaction. I experience it as a mind and body that will not hold their old pattern. There is no simple reset button. Relatives may carry the same risk in silence. Once the folding goes wrong, the damage can keep recruiting more of the same, and normal life starts requiring help it never needed before. Niemann pick disease. Type C cholesterol and other lipids get trapped inside my cells. They were supposed to move. They stay. Over time, the backup damages the brain. Walking gets awkward on stairs I used to ignore. Thinking slows in the middle of ordinary sentences. Sometimes psychiatric symptoms arrive before anyone suspects a storage disease. A wrong diagnosis can waste years. Parents hear an estimate like 1 in 150,000 and still feel singled out. I trip more. I laugh at the wrong moment. I forget words mid-sentence. Vertical eye movements can betray what blood tests later confirm. The body is full of tiny warehouses that forgot how to ship, and the brain pays the bill. Batten disease. I'm told it often starts with vision, then seizures, then thinking that used to be sharp begins to fade. Genetic mutations drive a progressive neurodegeneration with a name longer than most people can say. Neuronal Ceroid Lipofuscinosis. Worldwide, it is roughly 1 in 100,000 live births. That number does not soften the day a child stops seeing clearly, or the day seizures rewrite a family schedule. Skills that felt permanent start leaving in reverse order. Parents measure time in appointments and regressions. Siblings learn hospital hallways too early. Progress does not mean improvement here. It means the nervous system keeps losing ground. The disease does not negotiate, it advances with ruthless patience. Rett Syndrome. At first, I seemed to develop like any child. I reached, I babbled, I met milestones on time. Then purposeful hand use started to slip away. Language pulled back. Motor abilities that were climbing began to fall. Classic Rett syndrome is strongly tied to MECP2 mutations. It occurs mainly in girls. Hands that once reached for toys begin repeating motions that replace purpose. Eye contact can become the main conversation. Breathing can turn irregular without warning. Care turns into a second language. The whole family learns. This is not a child being difficult. It is not bad parenting. It is a genetic rewrite of how the brain supports hand use, speech, and movement. CADASIL. Your genes slowly damage the blood vessels feeding your brain. A Notch 3 mutation weakens the small pipes that carry blood through white matter. Migraines hit like weather systems I cannot cancel. Light hurts, sound hurts, I cancel plans, and hate that I have to. Then strokes arrive, sometimes small, sometimes obvious. Each one leaves a mark I feel days later. Thinking gets foggy in layers. I forget why I walked into a room. Words sit on my tongue and refuse to leave. I plan my life around symptoms that used to be called bad luck. MRI scans show a map of damage that matches the family tree. Relatives compare scans the way other families compare vacation photos. This is not ordinary migraine. It is inherited injury to the vessels that keep brain tissue alive. X-linked adrenoleukodystrophy. Your brain's insulation begins breaking down. Very long-chain fatty acids build up where they should not. Myelin, the coating that helps signals travel cleanly, starts to fail. Behavior can change fast enough to scare a school. Attention slips, vision blurs or narrows. Movement follows. Families learn that a metabolic backlog can look like a sudden personality shift. Boys and men connected through an X-linked path carry a risk that hides in routine blood work until it does not. I need treatment decisions that feel too large for the speed of the decline. Teachers call home. Doctors order more scans. When insulation fails, the brain's wiring still exists. It just stops conducting the way it should. Alexander disease, a mutation damages the cells that normally support your neurons. Astrocytes are supposed to protect and feed the network. A GFAP mutation turns that support system into a source of harm. White matter suffers on imaging before strangers notice my walk. Seizures can appear without a fair warning. Weakness grows in the legs and voice. My speech thins out on long sentences. Swallowing can become a daily obstacle. Food that used to be easy turns into a careful project. I cough more at dinner than anyone wants to mention. Progressive neurological decline is not a dramatic movie beat. It is a slow loss of functions you assumed were permanent. I feel the gap between what my neurons need and what their support cells can still provide. And every new symptom feels like another support beam giving way. Pelizaeus Merzbacher disease. Your nerves are built without proper insulation. Myelin is supposed to form and stay intact. Mine struggles to do either. Eyes drift in patterns that look strange to strangers. Nystagmus becomes a signature before I can explain it. Coordination fails on simple tasks like buttons and spoons. Stiffness and developmental impairment arrive early and stay. I work twice as hard for movements other people forget they learned. Therapy becomes a second school. Wheelchairs and braces enter the story for some of us. Parents translate medical jargon into bedtime routines. The problem is not effort. It is not laziness. It is a nervous system trying to send clear signals through incomplete insulation. So every clear step I take is a small victory against bad wiring. Spinocerebellar ataxia type 3. Your coordination slowly disappears even though your muscles still work. Doctors also call it Machado disease. An expanded genetic repeat keeps damaging the systems that control balance and movement. I can feel strength in my legs. I still cannot trust the next step. Stairs become negotiations. Curves become threats. Handwriting wanders across the page. Speech can thicken until phone calls get awkward. People ask if I'm drunk. I am sober and losing the map that connects intention to motion. I widen my stance in grocery aisles. I hold rails. Hereditary spastic paraplegia. The longest nerve fibers in your body slowly stop carrying signals. Those pathways run from brain to legs, like cables across a long building. Genetic defects make them degenerate year by year. Stiffness arrives first in the mornings, then weakness follows on longer walks. Walking turns into a fight against my own tone. My toes catch the ground. I stretch until it hurts and still feel tight. Shoes wear unevenly. I plan shorter routes. I hate how slow a hallway can feel. People offer advice about yoga as if I had not already tried everything gentle. This is not ordinary tight calves after sport. It is a dying signal line in the longest wires I own. And every year the signal has a little farther to fall.